learners, welcome back to the channel. Today let's see the basic definitions in electronics. Why do you wait? Grab a cup of coffee and listen. Okay, the very first question is, what is electronics? Electronics is a branch of physics which incorporates technology to design electrical circuits using transistors and microchips. Okay, what are the basic components in electronics? There are two types, passive components and active components. What are passive components? Components that cannot generate power in a circuit. Active components are components that can generate power in a circuit. Next comes the energy band structure. What is energy band? Band of very large number of closely spaced energy levels in a very small energy range is known as energy band. Next comes the valence band and conduction band. What is valence band? Valence band are the energy band which includes the energy levels of the valence electrons. This band may be partially or completely filled with electrons. This band is never empty. What are conduction band? Conduction band is the energy band above the valence band. At room temperature, this band is either empty or partially filled with electrons. Electrons can gain energy from external electric field and contribute to the electric current. Okay, then what is forbidden energy gap? The energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band is called forbidden energy gap. You see, materials are of three types: conductors, insulators, and semiconductors. What are conductors on the basis of energy bands? In conductors, either there is no energy gap between the conduction band, which is partially filled with electrons, and valence band, or the conduction band and valence band overlap each other. What are insulators on the basis of energy bands? In insulator, the valence band is completely filled. The conduction band is completely empty, and energy gap is quite large, and that energy from any other source cannot overcome it. Next comes the semiconductor on the basis of energy band. In semiconductor also, like insulators, the valence band is totally filled and the conduction band is empty, but the energy gap between conduction band and valence band, unlike insulators, is very small. Now let's move on to intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. What are they? On the basis of purity, semiconductors are of two types. What is intrinsic semiconductors? An intrinsic semiconductor is also called an undoped semiconductor or I-type semiconductor. It is a pure semiconductor without any significant dopant species present. The number of charge carriers is determined by the property of the material itself instead of the amount of purity. The number of excited electrons is equal to number of holes. What are extrinsic semiconductors? Those semiconductors in which some impurity atoms are embedded are known as extrinsic semiconductors. Now check this. Extrinsic semiconductors are of two types, N-type semiconductors and P-type semiconductors. What is N-type semiconductor? The semiconductor in which majority charge carriers are electrons and minority charge carrier are holes are called N-type semiconductor. Now, what is P-type semiconductors? The semiconductors in which majority charge carriers are holes, that is, positively charged, and minority charge carriers or electrons are called P-type semiconductors. What is Fermi energy? It is the maximum possible energy possessed by free electrons of a material at absolute zero temperature, that is, at 0 Kelvin. What is doping? The process of adding impurity to an intrinsic semiconductor in a controlled manner is called doping. Next, let's go into the definitions related to electronic devices. What are diode valves? The vacuum tubes which have two electrodes, that is anode and cathode, are called diode valves. What are triode valves? The vacuum tubes which have three electrodes, that is cathode, anode and grid, are called triode valves. What is PN junction diode? A semiconductor diode is basically a PN junction with metallic contacts provided at the ends for the application of an external voltage. It is a two-terminal device. What is forward biasing and reverse biasing? The junction diode can be connected to an external battery in two ways, called forward biasing and reverse biasing of the junction. Now, what is forward biasing? A junction is said to be forward biased when the positive terminal of the external battery is connected to the P side and negative terminal to the N side of the diode. What is reverse biasing? A junction diode is said to be reverse biased when the positive terminal of the external battery is connected to the N side and negative terminal to the P side of the diode. What is depletion region? The region on either side of the junction which becomes depleted, that is, free from the mobile charge carrier, is called depletion region or otherwise called depletion layer. The width of the depletion region is of the order of 10 power minus 6 meter. What is potential barrier? The potential difference developed across the depletion region is called the potential barrier. Potential barrier depends on dopant concentration in the semiconductor and temperature of the junction. These are the basic definitions in electronics. Hope you are enjoying the video. Do like the video, subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. Thank you for supporting. See you then.
Bye bye.